My grandfather was a builder in the city of Northcote. You look at Northcote now, the town's fallen apart, but back then it was a new development. And he'd come back from Gallipoli in France and World War One, and was building. And one year, I think it was about 1926, he had a bundle of money and he put it on a horse in the Melbourne Cup and he won it. That's my family's only claim to fame, I think, that my grandfather won the Melbourne Cup. And he had enough money to go and buy a brand new Dodge motor car, which would have been only for the rich. Almost would have had cars then. It's not like today, anyone can buy a cheap banger, but back then a car was a very substantial investment. And he won this money on the Melbourne Cup and he had a Dodge motor car. And my dad told me that one summer they took off for a drive down to Lake Tyers. There's an Aboriginal settlement down there. They went down there, you go down past Lake's entrance and you keep going along the road and you end up at Lake Tyers. And I said, gee, that's a long drive. I hate doing it in a modern car, let alone an old Dodge. And he said, oh, we thought we were pioneers. They were like pioneers, a trip down there, which it would have been. Rough roads, long distance, no air conditioning, just bumping along. But it was a brand new car, brand new Dodge of the day. They thought they were pioneers and wealthy people. They really, but no shops along the way, not many petrol stations, just enough petrol stations, not roadhouses with food and cafeterias and things like that and bottles of Coke along the way. Just have to pull up at a stream and get some water out and have a drink or something. But when my grandfather died, he was 8. My father was 8. And they couldn't find Johnny. There was all the family were around commiserating with my grandmother, and but no one knew where little Johnny was. And then someone found him down in the shed in the garage, sitting in his dad's car, because it was his experience with his dad to have that car. He was sitting there, the only point of contact he had with his dear old dad. He grew up without a dad. Of course, he had that experience up till 8. He grew up and he did a pretty good job as a dad, because he didn't have a lifetime experience. He only had half a childhood to find out what a dad does. And also back in those days, somewhere around 1914, 1916, it was probably after the war, it was probably about 16. He, oh gee, that would have been in the middle of the war. But anyway, he remembers going down the British Navy and the British Navy, no, I got the years wrong. It was 1920 he was born. Yeah, so about 26 or 24, somewhere there. There were 2 navies in town, the British Navy and the American Navy. Well, all their ships back then, battleships and cruisers and all of that, they were all steam powered. Like you see in the engine room if you see the film Titanic. All those hot steamy rooms with men sweating their guts out, shoveling coal all day. And they've got to do that just to get that ship moving. They've got to work hard, let alone take it right around the world. They'd come from Britain and they'd come from America. And, Australia must have been really bouncing back then to have these 2 visiting navies. My dad remembers going on board the ship and down into the engine room with his dad, because his dad was an ex-soldier, and he took him down there to show him these ships. And he still remembers these great big connection rods in the bowels of the steam engine, and seeing all the tough guys, the stokers on the deck and on the jetty. A stoker was a tough guy. He had a symbol on his shirt that said he stoked coal. And a stoker was a tough guy because they built up muscle, shoveling coal all day, 7 days a week, as the ship wanted to cross the whole world. or wanted to chase a German destroyer or something like that, they'd have to put on the steam. And those guys were tough. And Dad tells me, you know, if you're walking along the jetty and you see half a dozen stokers walking down, you'll get to the side and get out of their way. But it's all ancient history now. They don't even exist, of course. If the Navy ever has a rank called stoker, it's not what they do. They don't stoke anything. But yeah, stokers, they were the tough guys. Get out of the way. One punch and we'll knock your head off. Pow! That's all I've got.